Okay, about 20 seconds till 6, then we'll call it to order. All right, I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Hartford Select Board for our special Select Board organizational meeting on Thursday, March 7th, 2024 at 6 p.m. First item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Would anyone like to lead us tonight?
I'll be happy to.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Lanny.
Thank you for the honor.
Okay, we have to confirm the new members have sworn their oaths with the town clerk. So I'll ask Sue, have you sworn your oath?
I did.
Okay, Ida, have you sworn your oath?
Yes.
Brandon, have you sworn your oath?
I have.
All right, so our next item is the reorganization of board positions. So we will take motions and nominations and vote for the chair, vice chair, and clerk. So I will take a motion. Yep.
I nominate Mike Hoyt to be the chair.
I'll second the motion.
A second from Mary. Discussion? Think?
Yeah, I know from the great range of experience that Sue has, both in a town capacity, our BCA, and as a state capacity, that she has the opportunity to bridge across all the aisles. And I think that Sue would be an excellent candidate for the chair of this board. I also feel that there's been a lot of problems in the past, Mike, no disrespect to your leadership as a chair of this board, in terms of understanding and following Robert's Rules of Order. And I think that Sue has a very solid grasp and understanding of that, and would be a much better choice for the chair.
Any other comments? Kim?
I mean, Lanny, if you're welcome to make a nomination, I believe, like,
I would be happy to nominate Sue for chair.
is there a second?
Do you see a second? I don't see a second. So
I'm happy to second it.
what?
We can have a vote,
What?
so we can have a vote for it.
Okay, well, you run the vote, because as the chair, I'm not, well, I'm out of this process essentially.
Okay,
So what you would do is you would call the roll, me first, followed by Sue. And we'll see how it goes. And then whoever is elected chair will finish up and preside over the rest of the meeting. And I am likely to abstain, so.
okay. And I'm gonna take this role because we don't currently have a vice chair, and I have served as the clerk. So that, according to Robert's rules, is the way this will proceed. So for the nomination for Mike Hoyt for chair, moved by myself, seconded by Mary. I'll take the roll. Sue?
I'm gonna abstain too,
Okay.
and we can talk about it later.
Sue abstained.
Okay.
Lanny?
Nay.
Mary?
Aye. Aye.
We're voting on if Sue is.
No, if Mike
Oh,
I'm the
Mike,
chair.
okay, I'll abstain.
Mm,
Really? Why?
Why?
Oh,
I think you're supposed to vote unless you have a reason.
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mr. Chair, I don't believe that you have the ability to influence someone's vote by saying you have to vote. I
Okay,
mean, Sue has already abstained. If
well,
I
she's
choose-
also nominated for
But if
chair
I chooses to
on another
abstain,
motion.
she has the ability to abstain as well.
Okay,
I mean, my reason is just not having enough information about people's willingness and interest in the role.
okay,
That's my only reason, yeah.
okay, so abstain, nay, I abstain.
I will vote aye.
Brandon?
So you voted aye to
Yeah.
yourself being chair.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
Ah.
And that's okay. I'll vote aye.
I will also vote aye.
That's 4 ayes.
You got it, Lana? Okay, yes, so the motion passes. So then do we not,
And
do a vote on Sue's as well, or we do?
I don't see why we would. We can't have two chairs.
I believe you've elected your chair. I
Okay,
have voted 4-1 with 2 abstentions.
okay.
Okay, thank you, Kim. I will resume the meeting then. All right, I'll take a nomination for vice chair. Anyone would like to make one?
I move that Kim be vice chair.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a second from Brandon. Discussion? Okay.
I will also nominate Sue Buckles as vice chair.
We have a second for Sue
Yeah,
being
second, Sue.
nominated.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have, for some reason, we've had 2 nominations for chair and vice chair. So I will, unless anyone has any comment, I will call the roll beginning with Kim because she was nominated first. So the question is, do we vote yay or nay on Kim being vice chair? Sue?
We can't have any discussion.
We can have discussion, yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
It was my understanding that Kim did not want this role, so I'm surprised that she's been nominated. Is there not an option to say you don't want to?
No, there is an option, and I appreciate, oops,
Can we talk into the mics?
okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
I almost never hear people say they can't hear me. This is worth it just for
Thank you.
that.
Thank you. Sorry.
I appreciate that, and I had a heartfelt conversation with my partner, who I have, who supported me, my home life partner, and has previously asked me not to serve as chair or vice chair, and discussed it, and he felt like he could stand me being vice chair if elected.
Okay.
So I said I would step into the role.
Okay.
More discussion before I call the roll.
I mean, I'm curious, Sue, do you have any input on your interest or
Well,
capacity?
I mean, this is an interesting way to run an election if you have 2 people, but you only do 1 person at a time.
Yes.
I reached out to VLCT as well as Chuck Worcester as the moderator, and I can read to you Chuck's response if you're
No,
like,
no,
okay.
you don't
yeah.
have to, because I have been on many boards all over the state, and when I walk into my first meeting and I get asked to be the chair, I want to run away.
Yeah,
So I don't think it's even appropriate until I understand what this role is, that I would take a leadership role here. So
that was another part of my thinking. That
Yeah.
discussed.
yeah, so let's just go with that.
Okay, so we have a nomination for Kim to be vice chair. I will call the roll. Sue?
4.
Aye.
5.
Lanny?
Nay.
Mary?
Aye.
Ida?
Hi.
Brandon?
Aye.
Kim, do you want to vote?
I'll abstain.
And I will vote aye. So we have our chair and vice chair. Now we need to nominate a clerk. So I will take a motion of Kim.
If she'll accept, I would nominate Mary Erday for clerk.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second from Ida. Any discussion?
Mary, I just let you know that having been clerk for the last few years, I will happily support you in that role any way that I can.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any more discussion? All right, I'll call the roll for Mary as clerk. Sue?
Aye.
Lanny?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
Aye. Ida?
Hi.
Brandon?
Aye.
Kim?
Aye.
And I will vote aye. Looks like the ayes are unanimous. All right, so we have our chair, vice chair, and clerk. The next items are pretty straightforward. So you have in front of you a packet here which lists the select board liaisons. So their boards, committees, and commissions were all liaison generally to a number of them. As liaison, you do not have to attend the meetings, but you're encouraged to. The main idea is that you're kind of a conduit for the chair of a particular board or committee to give you information that may be useful for the select board to know. Towards the end of most of our meetings, we have a section called committee reports where you basically just say, I attended the Sister Cities Committee and they're doing this and that. Like right? So pretty straightforward. There's also a time of the year where you tell them if you have any budget requests for your particular committee, you should put them in. There are two committees, HCORI and the Committee on Housing and Homelessness, where select board members are approved, voted on by the board itself, and they end up being voting members of those committees. We ask if you have interest in either HCORI or the Committee on Housing and Homelessness that you fill out an application that's available from the town, the same application that citizens fill out when they want to join a board or commission. And we'll take that up at a meeting in the future, possibly next week. We're also, the rest of these non-voting committees, we kind of just divvy them up based on interest. So what I ask you to do, and we're going to do this next week, is to take a look at all the various committees, see if there are any that interest you particularly, and we will assign them. There are, we have returning select board members, and they generally have the committees they've been liaisons to, and if they want to stick with those, generally, that's what we do. If you look in the book, there's a list of liaison assignments. So the ones that are currently open are the ones that Dan, Rocket, and Ally were on. So Dan was on the Aquatic Center Oversight Committee, the Energy Commission, and the Tree Board. Rocket was on Historic Preservation, Sister Cities, although I took Sister Cities for him, the Hartford Business Revolving Loan Fund, and then the Town and School Meeting. And Ally was on HCORI and Housing and Homelessness, which are both the ones that are voted on, and also Resilient Hartford. So those are the ones that are open. If you have interest in the packet for each committee, you'll find like their committee charge, just so there may be some interest. And it's something we do. You can attend all of them if you like, all the meetings, or you don't have to attend it all as long as you stay in touch. And you're free, of course, to attend any meeting as a member of the public. So I suggest you take a look at these, and we'll bring this up next meeting.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there an expectation that we would each cover a certain number of them, or at least be assigned to stay aware?
So if you look, we have in there, you'll see generally everyone has 3. Rocket ended up having 4, and then ended up really having 2. But yeah, so it's 2 or 3. Some of them only meet like once a month.
Or once quarterly, like the revolving loan fund only meets quarterly.
Yeah. So there are ones like if you have a busy schedule, and there are ones I think where the schedule can, it's less, less sort of a burdensome. So, I'd encourage everyone to take a look at these. There's also, I believe there's some review orientation materials for the new members. One thing we'd ask you to look at is the Select Board Rules of Procedure. And that lays out sort of the authorities of each, the expectations of each board member, and talks about the role of the chair and the vice chair and the clerk. So that's good to look at. And then our next meeting is next Tuesday. And it's actually a great meeting, I think, for people who are new to the board, because we've got liquor licenses, cannabis license, appointments to committees, and an executive session. So you'll kind of get the full gamut of everything that we end up doing. And the actual substantive matters, we're going to hear from some people, but it's not an overwhelming agenda. So it's one that hopefully we can move swiftly and efficiently through, and which will give you a broad overview of all the different things that we do as select board members. So with that said, unless there are questions or other discussions, John?
Say a couple of quick things if I could on the orientation materials. You'll find what is a somewhat dated VLCT handbook, but it's still a helpful overview on the role of a select board member. You'll find or have been given your 2025 budget book, the budget that was just approved by the voters. Also, I'm told that your emails have been set up for your new members. Hopefully you'll be able to access them and check those and use your email, your official email address, because for public records requests, that comes up from time to time, and you'll want to be using your official email account to transact business, communicate with me and or other selectmen, so it can be easily traced and pulled when needed. Also, I believe you might have heard from Dylan about ID cards and photos that might be needed to customize an ID card that will get you into the building or around the building. If you haven't, maybe you can reach out to Dylan Walsh, he's our IT coordinator, or just talk to me, let me know that you haven't heard from him. There is an email in your accounts for all of you asking about your availability to attend a workshop which Dominic Cloud will facilitate. He's our VLCT facilitator on some of these workshops and trainings. And the next one is about conducting efficient and effective select board meetings. He's given 3 dates, and please let me know if any of those conflict with your schedule, and otherwise we'll just give him the dates that work best for us. Yes, they are the 27th, 28th, and also the 20th
Of March.
of March. So Wednesday, March 20th, Wednesday, March 27th, Thursday, March 28th, those are the options. Just please let me know if those don't work for you, or if any of those don't work for you. I've already heard that Mary has one of those dates conflicting with her schedule. And I've heard from Kim already.
What's the time frame of the day?
Roughly 6 to 7:30 or 8.
Okay, great.
Lanny, then Mary?
Yeah, you mentioned previously about the select board rules of procedure. I just want to understand if we're going to make a stance now that we are going to follow those rules of procedure, or whether we're going to just deviate from them as we have in the past. We've deviated from them in terms of communication. We have select board chair responsibilities. We've been a little lax on the communication.
So what I think is that we're going to bring this up in the future. What I will say to people, what's important to look at, since these do bind us, one of our duties is to maintain cordial and cooperative relations with our fellow board members. So if a vote doesn't go your way, please don't go on Facebook and castigate your fellow select board members. That's absolutely inappropriate. Also, remember, one of the most important things in setting boundaries is that the town manager manages town employees. We don't. So please don't try to talk to them, manage them, direct them, because that's absolutely inappropriate.
Mr. Chairman, you're
And
out of
that's
order.
the most important thing that we need to remember about
You're out
these
of order,
rules.
Mike.
I'm not out of order.
You are out of order.
I'm not out of order. I am telling you, those are all in the rules of procedure, and I think they're really important for the board members to follow. So new board members and returning board members, when you review these, please make sure to note those particular expectations. Mary, do you have a comment?
There again is the point that I was going to say, is that you want to point out the rules of procedure that you think are valid rules of procedure, and I'm not saying they're not.
They are
But
valid
you are
rules of
not
procedure.
willing to address the rules of procedure in terms of you being having written reports to the communication. To town
Those are the
manager.
agendas, because I talk to the town manager once a week. And then the agenda, which is what we talk about, is given to all the select board members in a written form. So
The
I
written
think that's
reports
that.
of communication with town manager and vice versa within a week of occurrence. or
Yeah,
usually
that's the
sometime-
agenda meeting. I generally don't talk to John about matters of great importance otherwise.
I will point out that a little bit later in this schedule, we hope to have this training with Dominic. And I think Mary has some suggestions on how rules of procedure could be tightened. I have a few of my own, and I think if you've got a Lanny, you should certainly come forward and make your proposals as well.
I don't think we have a bad rules of procedure. I just think we need to follow what we have in place.
Agreed, 100%. Mary?
I was just gonna say particularly to the new people that, even though I've been on the board for several years, each time I've gone to this select board essentials. And if you can go to it, I mean, they've always had, it looks like they don't have it's gonna be an in-person, although I think in-person is really great, but I've attended it by hybrid 2 times. And each time I learned something new, and you're highlighted in yellow for a passive member, so that's what you're paid for going to these. You just let the town know. So, like I said, and there's usually a Q&A, and I've learned so much more from the Q&A sometimes, but they go through all the areas that select board members delve into, and it's really a great workshop.
Okay, Sue?
So you sold me on it and I have to be in court all day.
Is
So is there,
there a video? or something?
yeah, video that I could watch or?
Mr.
I
Chair,
imagine there will be, I
I
can
imagine.
research that.
Yeah,
find out for you.
yeah.
Kim?
I would suggest, even if you can't attend, to register for it, because they will send a video link, a recording
Oh,
to
great.
anyone who is
Okay.
registered.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
that is,
Great.
I would say I'd be 95% sure of that.
Absolutely. All right, if there's no more business,
I am
John?
told that Ida and Brandon need to get finance documents to the finance department, tax withholdings and that kind of thing. That's all I've got.
Okay, if there's no more business, I will take the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thanks, everybody. We'll see you next Tuesday.